Well, welcome back guys, and today I'm just going to do a little review on the Kawasaki Z1000SX. It's a 2014. We've done about 650 miles on the bike, and this was the upgrade from the Suzuki Bandit, as you'll have seen in the previous video on New Bike Day. So first impressions on this bike were that it's definitely an exciting bike. The Bandit was brilliant. I run the Bandit for 2.5 years, toured Scotland on it, did loads and loads of miles. It was a brilliant first big bike. So this is like the second big bike, and it's obviously bigger with it being 1000cc, about 140 horsepower, and you definitely notice that when you first ride the bike. However, you do need to, you know, give it some throttle to feel that power. But there's times when, even when you're trying to do fairly slow maneuvers or roundabouts, corners, on the Bandit you can apply some throttle through corners and it didn't really matter too much. On this it does, because the bike just wants to launch and take off. Now I do hear that some of these bikes, they need to be mapped because they're a bit snatchy or whatever. This has still got the catalytic converter on it, but it's got Akrapovic exhaust, however you pronounce that. So a tune or a map might help the bike to stop being so snatchy, but I also think it's partly myself learning how the bike functions and the fact that there is extra power, and you've got to be aware of that. Now, the one thing I've done to adapt to that is you don't need to change down the gears so much. On the Bandit I used to change down quite a bit for corners and roundabouts, but this will cruise through corners and roundabouts in 4th, 5th gear, no problem. So it's definitely a very nice bike to ride. Smoother than the Bandit, but that's almost a given really. Although I did upgrade the Bandit suspension, heavier springs, better oil, new rear shocker, and it improved it a little bit. But Kawasaki seems to have got the suspension brilliant on this. I'm nowhere near using the amount of preload I had on the other bike. I'm 17 stone 4, and I've set this up to factory but added an extra tiny bit on the front. I've left the back as it came, which is probably halfway. I've messed about with the compression set at factory with a little bit wound on, and it seems great. I mean, I'm not getting my knee down, I'm not that kind of rider. I do try and go through corners fairly quickly on a nice day, and the bike copes quite well with it. It's way beyond my abilities, but you know, it's there. So there's no, this 2014 bike doesn't come with any toys as such, just standard. It's got ABS, there's no traction control or anything like that. I'm surprised, looking at the dash, that there isn't any gear indicator or anything like that, but some people fit those aftermarket. This one come with a quick shifter, which is first time I've used one, and it's quite good fun. I'm still trying not to use it all the time. So after 650 miles, I'm noticing on this bike that I don't get as sore in the knees. I'm 5'10", so just give you an idea of my height. I used to get quite sore knees on the Bandit for some reason, even though it's a touring bike. I don't get that on here. I don't get sore. I used to get slightly sore inside my elbows, and it wasn't for gripping on, it was just, I think, the bike position. This bike is so much comfier to ride. We've not done a massive tour. I think we've done probably 150 miles in a day on it, maximum. So we're yet to do sort of a 200 odd mile day. But after, you know, the time we've owned it, the miles we've done, it's a brilliant upgrade. Or, you know, your second big bike if you like. 140 horsepower should be more than enough for most people. It actually makes me wonder how people manage on the 180, 200 brake horsepower bikes, but yeah, it's plenty, I think. So it's just a beautiful bike to ride. This one's got no heated grips yet. I don't know if to fit them or not. Data tag came with it. I paid £15 upgrade to my name. Helps with the insurance. This one came with the Michelin Pilot Road 5s, which seemed to be a good tyre. I bought it from I think it was I actually can't remember. I'll put it on the screen now, but it was down in Dartford anyway. I think it was RM Bikes or something like that, and they prepared the bike very well. All the joints came lubricated, you know, overly lubed the chain, but you know, it was delivered very well. It was great condition. I bought it blind, didn't know if I'd like the bike. I've never ridden one, never sat on one. Took a massive gamble, but yeah, paid off. So I'll give you a walk around the bike once I stop. Also, another note on the Kawasaki is the fuel consumption. To a full tank, which obviously the cost varies because of the cost of fuel, but I think it's about 19 litres, and I'm averaging 170 miles on a day where I don't really thrash it too much. And to be honest, it's still about 160 miles if I have a few moments of slightly more accelerating, obviously staying within the speed limit. But it does seem pretty good on fuel. The Bandit was about the same on fuel. I started to only get about 165 miles to a tank on that due to E10, because you do get less miles per gallon with E10 fuel. Yes, you could put in E5 and it may balance out a bit. You might get more miles for the cost, but yeah, so it's pretty good on fuel. I've seen in the forums people who claim to get 120, but that's probably a much more spirited day's ride. Obviously if you're winding it back all the time, you're going to use more fuel, but for an average tour, commute or nice ride out, it's pretty good on fuel. It's a bit of a windy day, but I'm just going to show you what this acceleration is like. Just change down, and you should be able to hear the Acroprovics. Got a really nice grunt, haven't they? Beautiful. Well, hello guys, and I'm hoping this is working. So yeah, this is the walk round. You've obviously seen these bikes before, it's not like they're new, but I just want to give you a walk around my bike. As I said in the other videos when I was riding, this is the 2014 Kawasaki Z1000SX. Looking a bit grubby because we've been out on the flies everywhere. A wonderful bike. This has got the twin Acroprovic, whatever. And I've gone for the butt plug style stem mount there. So mount the phone is on it. There's that way, and you can have like a bracket in there, and again that's a ball mount. So I've gone for this option because it was probably the easier, cheaper option, but I do like the idea of the bracket in there because it's hidden away, and obviously the phone's in a better line of sight. When you're riding this bike and you're using the phone as a sat nav, you do have to look down in order to see the phone, which puts me off a little bit because, as you know, it's a bit distracting. I tried the Beeline Moto, didn't like it, very unpredictable, didn't know it was doing half the time, and it got me lost in Scotland, although it did help sometimes, but not all the time. So we've got a 190 rear tyre, which is fantastic. It's a stone chip, I hope. You know, the brakes are great on this, better upgrade than the Bandit for definite. The suspension's fully adjustable, which is brilliant. This has got the Michelin Pilot Road 5s. Everyone knows the great tyres. I like them, they're okay. I had the Metzeler on the last bike and the BT23 Battle Axe, which were alright actually. Get some good miles in on those. Yet to see how these are going to shape up. It's just a stone chip, thank God. So this is it, this is the bike. She's a little stunner, isn't she? Love the black colour. I like all the colours, but I think black really stood out for me. So yeah, thanks for watching.